Have you ever felt like you were being led on an adventure? A lot like Alice in Wonderland. But instead of going down the rabbit hole, I simply followed my camera. And it is a bossy one. So my camera has taught me a few things in life, about life, and I'd like to share them with you today. Things right. First thing is light. Let's talk about light for a while, because you can't talk about photography without talking about light. After all, photography is writing with light. But more than that, my camera told me, yes, it is alive. Search for the beauty in the mundane. Here's why. I work near the hospital, and every day I drive past the hospital. And every day at 5:30 p.m., the west-facing part of the hospital will be hit and illuminated by sun rays, while the east-facing part, where the sun rises, gets nothing. It's defined by shadows. And my camera dropped out of my bag when I was driving past one day. It says, take a picture. So I'll take a picture now. Well, I did, because what happens when you take the same kind of interesting light and put it into a more interesting subject? The person will talks back. And this is what I got. So the idea here is that if you look for the beauty in the mundane, the thing itself doesn't matter, but the light and how it falls on that particular subject matter, that matters. Now, I believe that every human being is hardwired to light. Our mood changes according to the light source. Is it harsh, then we get angry. If it's nice and soft, then we get a little bit happier. I was shooting this family, and the kids were on a sugar rush. They were running, jumping, yelling, and all of a sudden they slowed down because they were in awe of the sunset. But sometimes light isn't really just about light. Sometimes light itself can be subject matter. I was out looking to shoot a traffic jam for one of my stock portfolios, and I decided there was no traffic jam. Because we all moving so quickly. So I decided, the camera told me, why don't you shoot light instead? I thought, why not? It's a bossy camera. I'll listen. Every time I look at this particular photograph and I show this to photographers, they all burst out laughing. Because if you understand light, then you understand that there's light on her face, but not his face. And they were on a date. So she was on the phone and he was pretending to be on his phone. That changes things when you see light. It's almost like you see a different perspective and a different story. Which brings me to my next point, gesture. And my camera told me that if I want to take more interesting photographs, I just have to be a more interested person. I need to be more interested in life. Because I was sitting in my backyard and I was thinking, okay, I've shot this flower and that tree and the sunset, and I don't know what else to do, right? But told me I need to get out there. I need to be a more interested person. I need to be more interested in other people's lives. And that is reflected in the gesture. Because without gestures, a photograph is nothing. A photograph is nothing without gestures. When you look at a picture, you ask somebody asks you, what's the picture about? The picture's about a little girl. And here, these kids he's had his own treat. He's taken a bite out of his, but he wants hers. That's that little gesture that changes everything. And that stay on me for a split second. It's like Oreos. Now you see it, and now you don't. The camera saw it. But this is my nephew, and he got caught. He got his shirt caught on the bench one day, and a good uncle would help him out. But my camera was bossy. He tells me, take the picture. So I did, and this is something I believe that his parents will enjoy for a long time because there's something happening there. But being interested as a person doesn't mean you take a passive stance. I sometimes have to take a slightly more active stance. In this case, I told them to stick your faces together, and this is what I got. Then you get the little one in the middle, you go, why is everyone so close to me? That's gesture. That's the story. That's what's happening. That's photography. And the camera eventually told me, get out of the program. Go travel, like Fitri. Go travel. Go see the world. Become interested in what the world has to offer, besides what we see here. And I love this picture because that's not just all because of all the skin, but it's because of a gesture. And finally, perspective. If there's one thing that I'd like you to take home tonight, it really is about perspective. My camera tells me every day that there is more than one way to see the world. There is more than one way to see the world, and this is very important. To start off with, let's talk about going different places. This is a swimming pool on Sentosa Island. And if you've been to Sentosa Island, you know that it's faster, cheaper, and probably more convenient to go by train. But I chose to take the cable car 5 times. Because I wanted this perspective. I want to be a different place. I don't want to shoot the swimming pool from the swimming pool. I want to show you what it looked like from a different place. This kind of illustrates this my point perfectly. We drive past this building every day. Most of us anyway. We know what it is. We've seen it from the ground. Finding a tall place to shoot Brunei, high-rise building to shoot in Brunei is a bit of a challenge because there are only not many high-rise buildings in Brunei. Right? But perspective really isn't just about bringing your camera up and bringing your camera down and going to different places. Positive perspective really is just about understanding what another person, another being feels. In this case, I wanted to see what Bali looked like from a monkey's perspective. What would I do? How would I see the world if I was a monkey? If you take that and translate that into people, I saw this man in the middle of Orchard Road and I thought to myself, what is his perspective? What would the world be like to him? What would Singapore be like to him? And my guess is it's probably a little too fast for him, just like it was for me. And finally, this picture is a very proud one. I am very proud of this picture because I waited an entire hour for this. The perspective here is that I had my foreground, I had my background, I was waiting for things to happen, I was waiting for a lot of things to happen, and it didn't. And my camera told me, it's okay. It comes by every now and then. If it's happened before, it'll happen again. That's perspective, that's patience. To sum it all off, my camera told me to, number one, search for beauty in the mundane, to see things slightly differently. To search for beauty in the mundane, what we see every day, and gesture, what's the story here? To help me to become a more interested person, to become more interested in the world around me. And finally, that there is more than one way to see the world. My thinking here is that if we all practice this, if we all think about life like this, maybe we can see the world slightly differently. More importantly, maybe the world might see us slightly differently too.